Ready for it. What song are you thinking about playing?
If I took you everywhere, then well, you wouldn't know how to walk. If I spoke on your behalf, then well, you wouldn't know how to talk. If I gave you everything, and everything is what I bought, I can take it all back. I never care about what you thought. I didn't mean to make you mad. I don't like when you upset. I'ma call you later on, baby girl. Don't you forget. I'ma take you from this party. We might go and have some sex, or we do that later on. Then we lit like cigarettes. I thought you would stay with me. I'm yours and you're mine. I am there. So I'm gonna do. I won't ever do it on me without
Do
you.
you have a tour that can include my audio?
If I took you everywhere, then well, you wouldn't know how to walk. If I spoke on your behalf, then well, you wouldn't know how to talk. If I gave you everything, and everything is what I bought, I can take it all back. I never care about what you thought.
Look, gunshot, thought you heard about me, must not. Last nigga did me dirty, like a bathroom in a truck stop. Now my heart, it feel like Brillo. I'm hard like I'm a Dello. Can't be no nigga ex, I could only be his widow. That's a fact, dressed in black, my heart break, bones will crack. I be chillin', watching Oxygen, my favorite show is Snaps. Now you know how I get, every day a foreign whip. Rather see you in a hearse than see you with some other bitch, huh?
If I took you everywhere, then well, you wouldn't know how to walk. If I spoke on your behalf, then well, you wouldn't know how to talk. If I gave you everything, and everything is what I bought, I can take it all back. I never care about what you thought.
And let me be the first to welcome you to our first episode of Getting Crazy with PCP. I'm your boy, Percival Conrad Prince. So glad to have everyone here tuning in and watching this special video release. We've got a great show lined up for tonight. We've got someone here. He is possibly one of the most despised men in all of the E-Feds, but no one can deny the results that this man brings to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with me now, I have the incomparable Cowboy Kevin Falcon. Kevin, say hello.
Yo, what is good, HWA Universe? It's the boy, Cowboy Kevin Falcon. Let me get a yeah! Ow!
Hey, how you doing, Kevin? Glad to have you here tonight, brother. We just
I'm doing good.
Oh, you're doing great, man. Glad to hear it, man. I've wanted to take an opportunity to sit down with you. I've watched a lot of your accomplishments in MHC and here in HWA, and of course in SDP and EWA as well. And I wanted to know what you've been around for a while and you've competed in a lot of different places, and I just want to know what you think of HWA compared to other places that you've been.
You know, HWA is something very different in all of the EFED world. HWA is definitely one place that I could call home. It's open for everybody, you know, everybody that is basically around the world. They can all come. And that's what I like about it. Definitely, it's very open.
And what do you mean by open, if you care to elaborate?
Like, you know, people from all the other countries, you know, countries like Canada, Germany, you know, the word heritage defines, you know, people around the world.
It does indeed. It does indeed, Kevin. I just want to say I'm really glad to have you here. I think this will be an opportunity for you to get your point of view out there and let everybody see who Kevin Falcon really is. And glad to see the Ninja and the Bounty Hunter have decided to tune in and join us. And speaking of the Bounty Hunter, I wanted to ask you about your partnership with him. How did that come to be? Tell me how you came to throw in with the Bounty Hunter.
Well, you know, honestly, since I was like back at the Weed Squad a couple months ago, I realized I was very lost. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know if I had to continue on with my career. But luckily, since the bounty hunter came up, he told me that my career would always go on in HWA. You know, we may have our differences, but we both thought we were brothers. And forming this alliance was probably the greatest thing that happened in my career.
And why do you say that?
To be honest, I think I'm getting a lot more attention than I got as in the Weed Squad members.
Okay.
But it was definitely a career turnaround for me. Like it possibly turned my life around.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, well, I'm really glad to see we have been seeing an upswing with Kevin Falcon lately. What are your hopes for the Texas Outlaws into the future? We saw you guys go against some of the toughest tag teams in HWA. We saw you go up against the Smooth Criminals a couple of times, and you just fell short each time. So what are you guys hoping to do?
Well, hopefully we can regroup. You know, get some wins in the near future to build up our momentum. And possibly, when the time is right, we can go after the Smooth Criminals for those tag team championships. You know, I can hold those.
Oh, go ahead.
I can hold that title for the second time in HWA.
It's really cool that you know you think so highly of your tag team partner and you have such a level of respect. I want to talk about your run with the NWO and your little feud with the then Monochrome Man. What was going on there from your point of view? What was up with all of that?
When I first came to HWA, yes, I was in the NWO. But Ioka was a creep. That man was a creep. I'm telling you. This man acted like a high school girl. This man was a creep.
Did he? We heard
like
rumors that he sent you flowers on a number of
Oh,
occasions.
God, no.
Is there any truth to that?
No, absolutely not.
So Ioko never sent you flowers after any of your
No.
matches?
Hell no. I would never let that happen. You know damn well that will never happen.
So what caused you to leave the NWO?
Honestly, the NWO was just a ripoff from HWA. Personally, I thought we would never come up to win any title in HWA. So I figured, as a way to push my career up, I would have to do one thing that was despicable to some of the fans. I had to turn against the NWO, and I had to do the same with the Weed Squad. It was nothing personal, but people took it that way. So I just wanted to push my career up.
So this
Give
whole
every-
so it's safe to say that this whole time you've just been pretty much looking out for yourself and looking out for your own interests, trying to build your legacy as an entertainer, as a wrestler.
That could be the case.
Do you have any qualms or regrets about that? There have been a number of people on whom you've stepped to get where you are today. Are you concerned with any type of like retaliation or payback or anything like that? People coming after you?
There's one guy that really does sicken me. Connor fucking Kent.
Oh, I knew that was gonna come up.
Connor Kent is one son of a bitch that does not shut up for nothing.
Be sure to keep your mic close to your mouth, by the way, there, Cowboy.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're doing great.
The only reason why that bitch attacked me from behind is because he's jealous of me. He's jealous that I'm right up to the top. And he just wants to sneak his way to get there like a little snake. And he possibly had to take my fiance away from me.
Man, that's...
That is...
Go ahead.
I understand he's trying to go to the top. But one thing you never, ever do is take a man's woman. As soon as I get my hands on that bitch, she will not move any second. Just ask Colin Palmer to what I did to him. It's going to be worse for Connor Kent.
I was going to bring that up. You and Callum Palmer. And the Palmers are pretty much non-existent in HWA. So for any of the new viewers that have no idea what I'm talking about, it's okay. You're not missing a whole lot. But let's talk about the Palmers. You broke Callum's back over an MHC, and that completely derailed him over here in HWA as well. But then when everyone thought that he was recovering, he was actually masquerading as the Sun and personally coming after you. What were your thoughts whenever you were being stalked by the Sun and you had no idea that it was Callum Palmer behind that mask?
Honestly, it's nothing new. Because, Callum and I have wrestling history. Anywhere. But from the time we were both champions in MHC, but when he was the Sun, I did not know what was going on.
Plus, he was your brother-in-law. He was your ex-brother-in-law. Forgive me.
Yeah, he was at the time. But one thing that gave me a hint was I think it was at the time where he had the version of shoving money down people's throats.
I remember that.
Yeah, that came into click. I knew, as soon as I saw that victory motion, I knew it was Callum. It was nothing new at that time.
Did you expect Callum to make a recovery and even attempt to come back after you?
Nope. I thought he was going to be out for a couple of years or so. For a long time. That's what I wanted. Because that man has been playing with my mind for over a century. I wanted to get that voice out of my head and kill it. That's what I did with Callum. It's nothing new, like I said.
I want to talk to you about something that is kind of a sore spot in HWA and for a few people, and it might be a sore spot for you, but we're being open and we're being candid here, and I feel we can carry on into this. I want to talk about your son, Falcon Jr., Savin Falcon, Sabin Elliott. This young man has just he's been on the Plague's shit list ever since the Submission Asylum tournament, whenever he was caught juicing with performance-enhancing drugs, and he risked making the entire brand look bad. He hasn't been fired, but he's been suspended for an indefinite amount of time, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on that matter.
At first when Savin came into HWA, I was very proud of him at the time. Because he was winning some big matches that I couldn't do, and I'll admit that.
He beat you in a 3 stages of hell.
Yes, he did.
He worked you from one end of the arena to the other, man. It was a sight to see. It was nuts.
That is something I will admit it. But I will never.
Now, knowing now in hindsight that he was on the juice whenever he beat you all those times, and he was amassing those victories, that he was basically cheating his way to the top. How does that make you feel now as a performer? Even though you are mostly a heel, and even though you do take the low road, there's a measure of integrity for the sport there, So how does it make you feel as a performer to know that he was taking shortcuts like that and almost jeopardized the entire show?
As a performer, it really disappointed me. Because I never thought he would do something like that. Yeah, I know that Falcon Family has done some dark stuff, but that was one thing we never did. Now, as a performer, I really wanted to put him in the hospital like I did to Colin. He really angered me so much that a dark side in me called the demon established throughout the whole backstage area.
Oh, I've seen the demon Kevin Falcon a number of times. I've seen that persona emerge.
It's something I've been thinking about releasing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if HWA is ready for all of that. I think HWA is glad to have the Texas Outlaws for now. Man, you've done so much here. You've held numerous titles. You were the runner-up of the Guardian of the Gold tournament. Let's talk
Busted my ass to get the top.
Oh, man, let's talk about the Guardian of the Gold tournament. You were still actually making a name for yourself in HWA when Pandora's Box was opened by Critical Mo for the first time, and that tournament was introduced. You actually were one of my personal picks to take the whole thing. I thought for sure you were going to go all the way. No lie. I thought Kevin Falcon he's going to come in here and he's going to take this whole fucking thing, and then we're never going to hear the end of this guy. Is exactly what I was thinking through all that. What is up, Max? But yeah, I thought Kevin Falcon was going to take this. What were your thoughts on the tournament?
Well, as we all know, back at the time, I was in the NWO. And, hold on, Mom. Back at the time. Don't listen to that.
Hold on. If you've got something to do, go do what you need to do. We'll take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Guardian of the Gold of the SWO and Kevin Falcon in just a minute. All right.
All right.
We are live with Kevin Falcon. It's a hard knock life. I understand. Can't be getting yelled at by the peeps. We are here with our first episode of Getting Crazy with PCP. And on the phone we have none other than Cowboy Kevin Falcon doing a candid interview with all of us. He's the most despised man in all the E-Feds. We're sitting down with him in our first episode to kind of get a glimpse into the mind of the Falconator and see what makes him tick. see why he's been doing some of the things he's doing and what his thoughts are on HWA, the things that have been going on, and some of the events that have transpired in the last few weeks. Will with that fiddle. So glad to have everybody here. I was really debating on whether I wanted to live stream this interview or if I just wanted to record it and then post it later or broadcast it at another time. And Kevin was like, we should just live stream it, and whatever happens, happens. We're just kind of winging it anyway. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. But we're glad to have everybody here hanging out. Glad to have everybody hosting and watching, everyone watching the video on demand of this great interview so far. I appreciate all of you for joining us. But yeah, we got it going on. We got our boy Kevin Falcon taking a little break, picking the man's brain. So how's everybody else doing out there in Chatland today? The ninja looks like he's got a couple of questions for Kevin Falcon himself. Let's talk about that time you attacked me that one time after our match, Kevin. You want to talk about that, Kevin? Oh, man. Let's see. I wish I had something lined up. I was expecting to get all this in one shot, actually. I wasn't expecting to make filler entertainment, but it's okay. We'll see what we have going on over here. I don't even have the Xbox on. Falcon giving good lip service to the bounty hunter. Nothing but respect. Nothing but respect there, man. So, I mean, you can't hate on that. Got nothing but love and respect. And with everything that's been going on with Kevin the last few days, man, he's going to need all the support network he can get. A lot of crazy stuff been going on. Connor Kent attacked Kevin Falcon backstage. And then we find out that Violet Cole, we went on to see throughout the process of the show, Violet Cole violently dumping Kevin on air in the chat. It was great. It was ugly. She came out with Connor Kent instead, and it was bad news from the go. We haven't really touched on that too much yet in the interview. We will get to that part. Most definitely. Man lost his fiance. Talk about sleazy. I know. The question is, did she leave to go with Connor, or did he talk her into it? She says that it's strictly business, that she's just there to support Connor Kent and his rise to the top, and that she's tired of Kevin Falcon. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any romantic feelings there. She swears there aren't, but you know how it can be sometimes.
Mind if we could continue?
Oh, you're back. Glad to have you back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where were we? We were talking about the Guardian of the Gold, and when you first came in, and the case is open, and this huge tournament is standing before you.
Alright, so like I said, back at the time I was in NWO. Personally, I thought I was gonna, overcome the odds and win the whole thing. Like you said. But, I think the reason why I lost to that was because of, Prince Diamond hit me with a low blow number of times.
You've been known to hit that low blow a number of times yourself, though, Kevin. Some people would say that was you getting a little taste of your own medicine.
I will admit I have done that a number of times, but there is always a way of me changing.
Oh, I understand. Nobody expected Prince Diamond to win that tournament. Nobody even thought that he would even make it past the first round, honestly. And the guy came in and just took the whole thing. You and he held the tag team championships together for a short time after that. Tell me how that was. How was it working with him, interacting with him?
Well, like you said, the reign was short because of one thing. I still had anger and aggression towards him. I wanted to beat the living shit out of him.
Oh,
No lie, I wanted to beat the living shit out of him.
we could see there was no love. If you go back and watch those tag matches, man, they were tense. We expected you guys to turn on each other at any moment. We were waiting for it to happen.
I thought about it, but then I kept my cool, and kept on fighting. And honestly, I think that's what any competitor should do. No matter what you're going through, you have to keep it cool and not show your anger and aggression. But you can only do it unless if it's needed to get yourself toward the top. And that's what I'm trying to do. And some people don't really understand that. And I think that's why I'm getting a lot of haters today.
So, take me back to that night that you and Diamond lost the tag team titles after the Guardian of the Gold. You'd fought your way through this tournament only to come up second best. You're partnered up with the guy who beat you, this nobody that came out of nowhere. You can't stand the guy. It's tentative at best, and you're doing all you can to hold on to these championships, and then you lose the titles, and it's all over. What's going on there? Tell me what's going on with Kevin Falcon in that moment.
That moment, I honestly don't know for sure what happened at that time because I was pretty bloody. I had a concussion backstage, and I remember being rushed to the hospital.
I remember that.
Yep. It started out like, me walking towards the backstage area and I just collapsed. But before I even headed backstage, I remember Prince Diamond, getting off the turnbuckle and dropping down to leave me in a handicap match. And that's how the closing moments turned out. That's when I really thought of getting back, fighting strong, then going after Prince Diamond. I still have anger for him today. Even today, that moment still haunts me to death.
If you had a chance to get him in the ring and get a little payback or retribution, would you?
Oh, for sure.
Do you think that it would help to maybe quell some of those demons of the past and maybe those shortcomings that you feel? Do you think you'd be a little less hard on yourself if you did beat him?
I mean, maybe if I destroyed him. But he's a pretty good fighter, I'm not gonna lie. He's a real good fighter. And that's how the war ended in the Guardian of the Gold, because as you can tell, all of us were bleeding.
Yeah.
The crowd was going insane. The place was rocking. He really put me in wars that I'll never forget.
He took you to the limit, that's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was one hell of a match to remember. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Doug the Dog in the house hosting us. We're here with Getting Crazy with PCP. On the phone, we've got Cowboy Kevin Falcon. We've got a candid interview with him talking about his run in HWA, getting inside the man's head, seeing what makes him tick, and getting his side of the story, basically. I want to hit on something a little close to home, and please forgive me, but inquiring minds do want to know. I want to talk about some of the things that happened at the show last night. How Connor Kent, we touched on Connor Kent briefly earlier on. We didn't really talk a whole lot about that, but I really want to take this time to talk about Violet Cole and her actions. And we saw the bloody breakup in the chat last night. It was just accusations and names thrown and hurled back and forth. Have you spoken with Violet since then?
No, and I have not, and I don't plan to.
You don't plan to reconcile in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Fuck no.
Oh, hell yeah!
Hell no. From the moment when I saw yesterday, I knew it. With a click of a mind, I knew she was a bitch. She was a real bitch. Even outside the It was all drama. And I'm not surprised she went with Connor Kent because, like I said, they do have something similar. That is lose every battle they are in.
So,
They,
she came out with Connor Kent, and you're saying that you weren't surprised when she came out with him.
mm-mm.
So you invested all this love, time, trust, and emotion into this person who seemingly leaves you for someone who you've already beaten and sent crying with his tail tucked, and you're not surprised.
No. I mean,
You-
no, face it. Her father was Colin Palmer. You know, she does have a Palmer action. And she showed it yesterday. She showed her real true colors.
she showed her
Of
Palmer
course,
colors, huh?
yes. You know, of course, I was gonna see it coming. I knew it was coming because she never hides her true instincts of being the bitch Palmer that she is.
I apologize. I know it's hard, and I don't mean to make light of your situation, Kevin, or be insensitive about it. It just I
I don't
find
think
it.
you know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to have somebody, you know, hating on you and doing everything in her power to break you down deep inside. You don't know what that feels like.
You
Nobody does.
you were married. So is Lexi Violet's half sister?
Um,
Wait
no,
a minute.
that's her aunt.
Lexi something. Wait, no, Lexi is Callum's sister. I'm sorry. I'm getting
Yeah, that's the
everything all
aunt.
mixed up. Lexi is her aunt. Never mind. I'm sorry. So you were with Lexi Palmer, and
Mhm.
you married and divorced her, and that was it's. I could do another 2-hour episode about that in and of itself, I'm sure. But what made you go after another freaking Palmer?
To be honest, I don't know what was going through my head. I was a bit fucked up, a bit drunk. You know, memories popped up. Didn't know what I get myself into until I realized what happened last night with her and Connor Kent.
Do you think that there's do you think there's any kind of romantic involvement there with Violet and Connor? She maintains that it's strictly business, but we want to know what Kevin Falcon thinks on that matter.
She says that they're friends, but that's what they all say, right? That's what every woman says until those friends actually get together.
So you're
It's
saying
obvious.
so you're saying it's just a matter of time before they announce their official coming together and all that stuff. That's what you're saying?
Isn't it obvious?
Hey, it is what it is. The bounty hunter says, I hope you learned your lesson. He says, now you guys can focus on winning those tag team championships now that you don't have those distractions in the way. And what are your thoughts on
No,
that?
Bounty Hunter is speaking the truth. You know, we don't have anybody to bug us anymore. We can win those tag team titles and get back up to the top
So I want
where we
to
belong.
ask you, you've been here, you've been with HWA for a while. I want to ask who do you consider to be your greatest rival or adversary in HWA?
That's definitely a tough one because uh, Diamond and Kent really do run a close race. I hate the both of them with a passion.
True, but you've had some pretty remarkable feuds with Ioko and the Bounty Hunter even. You guys have beat each other bloody a number of times. There's also the Ninja, who you inexplicably attacked after y'all's match that one evening.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
What was going through your head that night when you came after the Ninja?
He had a title that I wanted really bad. I was chasing for it for my possibly the whole career. Uh, I, I kind of forgot what title he held, but
It was
I do remember I
probably
was chasing.
it was the MMX title, if I'm not mistaken. It might have
Was
been
it?
the US title. I'm not sure. It was one of the singles championships that he held, and you guys faced off. And I mean, it was a great match, back and forth, and you ended up getting the victory after a bitter end. But then you weren't finished. You just started going after the man, and you did not let up. The referee couldn't even stop you. It was just madness. You were like a psycho that night, Kevin.
The demons took over me at that night. You know, you could see the rage in my eyes, and I could not stop hurting people back then. And the voices kept, talking to me. They were saying, "Let go. Let goddamn cowboy suit get rid of the fucking get the demon out." But I don't want that to happen. I really don't want it to happen. Because I'm doing what any man does. Get the demons away. They're not gonna come in HWA. You know, me and the bounty hunter we're gonna overcome the odds and take those tag team titles. I don't care what anybody says. You know, anybody can hate on us all they want. But trust me on this. We will get those tag team titles, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it.
Well, I want to ask you, who would you like to face in HWA if you had the chance, like a dream opponent? Who in HWA would you like to face that you probably haven't faced yet? Or maybe you faced them once or twice and you'd just like to get a hold of them again. And you can't say Prince Diamond because we already talked about Diamond.
You know, I faced one guy in towards my debut. If there's one guy I could get a hold of him again, I think I would go after the Plague.
Oh.
The Plague, Evan Walker.
You know, he's made a notable kind of comeback as of late. You know, we don't see him much wrestling in HWA, but we see him over in MHC a lot, and he is just part of Psi Kappa Tap Out over there, kicking ass and taking names. I don't know if you've had the chance to encounter him over there, but I know seeing Plague wrestle in HWA is a very rare thing indeed. I remember when he and Smithy were going back and forth. That was pretty nuts. There for a while, they were going back and forth.
I mean, I know he's a very good submission artist, but I think the only way to beat him is to put him in Extreme Rules 2 out of 3 falls match. That is one thing I think I could beat him.
That's pretty interesting, and you never know what kind of surprises the Plague has in wait. He's an incredible booker, and he always throws just the best things out. I want to talk. Let's talk about somebody that's not Kevin Falcon for a moment. We want to let's talk about let's get your thoughts on Malice, the former international champion with his Dogs of War and his Ivory Towers. What's Kevin Falcon's take on all of that?
Dallas is definitely one impressive wrestler in HWA. Possibly, anywhere in the Mixed Wrestling Alliance. He's very impressive to anywhere he goes. I've been listening to the segment he had last night. Honestly, he does have a good future ahead of him. I will admit that.
And what were your thoughts on that triple threat match where Ioko won the international championship?
Hmm. I didn't think he could do it. I really didn't think he could do it. I thought the gold was getting too much ahead of him. But apparently he made himself a little bit shinier. He's got more gold.
Right? That's for sure.
Hmm.
Now he carries the most prestigious championship in HWA. Are there any plans for you to possibly go after that? Or are you focused on the tag division for now?
I think for now I'm focused on the tag team titles as of right now. But don't worry, the chance of me and Ioko are gonna come.
Well, I'm going to name off some HWA superstars, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind when I tell you their names, okay?
Hmm.
All right, we're going to start off with Natalia, the Buddha Fire.
Sexy as hell.
Speechless.
My
Okay,
lord.
okay. How about the Dragon King?
Mm. Kind of reminds me of, the demon that I had. He's very ruthless. He's very, he makes his point.
Right?
He does whatever he can to overcome the obstacles. To overcome any big match that'll be put in his way. He's very tough. I will admit that for a cruiserweight.
All right. Critical Mass Mo. I'm hitting you with some tough ones, I know.
They, people that you're naming are like, top HWA superstars. They're like top tier. Critical Massimo is definitely a top tier wrestler. Within a blink of an eye, he'll put you to sleep.
Oh, definitely. That soul stare is nothing to mess with.
Hmm.
And our last
Same
one.
thing with.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, same thing with Wesley Wolf.
Oh, that claw. That damn
Yeah.
claw.
That will put you to sleep in about 0.3 seconds.
No doubt.
I've been a victim of that claw, believe it or not.
We've seen it. We've seen it a number
I've
of times.
also been a victim of that soul stare too. It was no joke.
No, it's not. It just saps out your will to fight completely.
Hmm.
All right, last one. The Weed Squad.
Former brothers, yet bitter enemies.
Any chance of reconciliation there? Will we ever see Kevin Falcon be Smokey again? Will we ever see Smokey Kevin Falcon?
Not anytime soon, no.
Well, what are Kevin Falcon's hopes for the future? Where do you see yourself a few years from now in HWA?
I see myself as the HWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Good
The
answer.
face of HWA.
Good answer. Good answer. Do you have any questions for me?
So, what do you plan to do?
What do I plan on doing?
As the Plague.
What do you mean by what does the Plague plan on doing? Like as a wrestler
What?
or as a
Yes.
booker?
What does he plan on in the near future?
Well, the
As an
Plague,
in-ring competitor.
the Plague as an in-ring competitor is just kind of taking it day by day. The Plague felt that he was past his prime for a long time, and for a while he really felt like he didn't have what it took anymore to make it in the ring, and that's really why he tried getting, he had one more good run in him, and he used that time to do TV spots and make some money, and do some really good investments. And that's when he decided to start HWA. And he wanted to get back to basics of everything, the small crowds, the indie scene kind of thing, just hard hitting, no rules. And he started running it. And Max Adam over at MHC was like, hey, why don't you come knock about? I mean, and then the Plague knocked about a bit in HWA, but he's not one of those guys that ever wanted to hold the championship in his own company. It just, for him, he's not that guy. He'd go somewhere else and be the champ. But when Max wanted him to wrestle, even in a part-time capacity, he was very leery at first, and it took a lot of convincing. And you see what the Plague has done over in MHC with Psi Kappa Tap Out. He's the damn Colorado State champion over there, and he really feels like he's coming into a second wave in his career. So, like a second golden age for him. He's going to continue wrestling in MHC and see where that takes him. And he looks forward to his next match every time. But he's going to keep running HWA with everything he has.
Both companies have improved as well.
Oh, definitely. All four of the MWA companies are just doing great. SDP had a great show. Swampy goes on early in the mornings in our time now. Or it's in his time. Like, it's 3 a.m. our time or some shit like that. I don't know. But, man,
no, it's like 4.
Swampy's show has gotten so much better. His commentary's gotten better. Max as well. He's been running Fire Pro lately, and that's been great. Jonesy, too. He kills it every time he's on. Two guys that I've been noticing, though, are Rager, Bill Kirk with BCW. And, Yanni, of course, when he was doing Shaw, but Shaw has since folded. But BCW has been one that I've been looking at. And Bill Kirk, he's been doing really well with his company and stuff. So I've been keeping my eye on those guys. And Kevin Falcon's been making a lot of noise in BCW as well.
Mm-hmm.
Going to that, on that matter. Here I thought I was ready to wrap this thing up. And you just gave me another great question. Okay, you're Kevin Falcon. You're a fucking megastar. All right, you're like the face of the feds, man. You're just recognizable everywhere you go. People know who Kevin Falcon is. Whether it's, oh, I like that guy, or oh, fuck that guy. They know who Kevin Falcon is. You're a household name by now. All right, and you've got a legacy. You've got a reputation. It would be safe to say that you're a pretty big star, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So why is Kevin Falcon knocking about on an underground indie wrestling show? Do you just get off on beating up little guys that have no name? I mean, like why are you over there? You're a big shot, man, and you're wrestling against Cole fucking Quinn, really? I mean, come on, man, isn't that kind of beneath you? You're kind of slumming it a little.
I mean, I know it seems a bit off, but, as an in-ring competitor, I thought, if I go to BCW, I will help the ones that will eventually get to the top of the big shots, where the big boys play at.
So you're hoping that by Kevin Falcon being over there that you can lend some credibility to BCW and kind of bring some of that star power to help push them up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's
I use
good.
it to help others.
So, all right, last question before we conclude this thing. Is there anything you'd like to say to the locker room or the audience at home right now that you haven't touched on yet? Last chance to let them know who Kevin Falcon really is.
Connor Kent better watch his ass, because you never know where I'm coming. You don't know when I'm about to strike. That is one thing you have to know before you get in the ring with me. You never know where I'm at until the right moment times. When the blink of an eye, you get whacked in the head, and possibly worse. Now, I do want to give a shout out to, the MHC crew.
Oh, definitely.
Now,
Max and the boys, for sure.
Now, speaking of the play earlier, I am, looking forward to a match at MHC, for the Colorado State Championship. Maybe I can hold it for the 4th.
Throw some skunk gas for Max at him real quick. Woo! Let's go gas for Max. MHC, go give him a hot follow if you're not already. How? Oh yeah, yeah, you're supposed to be going up against the Plague in MHC for that Colorado State title. That's definitely going to be an interesting face-off. Do you think that will, is there a difference for you facing the Plague in MHC as opposed to facing him in HWA?
I do understand, he plays 2 characters for, different feds, and, it'll be an honor to step in the ring with him.
Well, either way, I'm sure that it's going to be one hell of a matchup between those two over on MHC.
Oh yeah, it will. It's going to be a war.
Sure. Well,
it's
Kevin,
definitely going to be a war.
I think that's all the time we have for tonight, but thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. After we go off there, stay on the line, and we'll do some wrap up with our producers and stuff. But for now, I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in, everybody watching and hosting, everyone following, everyone watching the video.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Kevin, for being here. I appreciate everyone for being here. You guys are all absolutely golden.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say thank you for being a friend.
Woo! Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Kevin Falcon, as well. This has been our first episode of Getting Crazy with PCP. Until next time, I'm your boy, Percival Conrad Prince.
I gotta get a little.
Oh,
Gotta
what?
get a little.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get the yeehaw from Kevin Falcon. Until next time, guys.